Today we're talking to James Wakefield. He is a lepidopterist. Yes. We're talking about butterflies. To those who are guessing what that is, we're actually live with James on Facebook. Yeah. And James Wakefield lives in Harare. Maybe you can actually break it down for us. What is a lepidopterist in your own words?
Great. So lepidopterist comes from the word lepidoptera, which is the order that includes butterflies and moths. So it's basically someone who studies butterflies and moths.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you actually go to school for that?
No, it's, well, you could study entomology, which is the study of insects at university, but what I've learned is self-taught and just from experience. It's stuff you really have to sort of just get from studying nature.
When did your fascination with butterflies start? Because I remember growing up, we'd see a lot of butterflies. You don't see them much nowadays.
Yeah,
but then
so
we see a lot of them. And as a young kid, the color, just different things would draw you to them, but then not to then really get into the detail. What fascinated you and what drew you to studying and understanding?
Yeah, well, that's a hard question. So I started studying butterflies when I was in grade 7, which was 2015. And it was just one day at Lake Chivero, and I caught a butterfly and I wanted to know more about them and all the different colors and different types and where they come from. And it just sparked something in me, and I can't explain it. I just have a passion for butterflies, and I just think they're incredible.
They are incredible. It is a good passion that you have for butterflies.
For sure.
So in Zimbabwe,
yes.
I understand there are different types, as we have seen.
Yes.
Different types of them.
Many.
How many types of butterflies do we have in Zimbabwe?
We actually have 526 different species of butterflies.
No way.
And most people are blown away by that fact. They sort of can name a couple of different colors, but we have a huge variety of butterflies, and among that a whole lot of different forms and colors and subspecies as well. So I normally have live butterflies to release and show people, but because we don't have any windows today, I've brought an entomological collection just to show you a small variety of a few of our incredible Zimbabwean butterflies.
Please go on our Facebook page and see what's happening here in studio. We have James here with his butterflies and also caterpillars live in the studio. So how many of the butterflies that are found, that are only found in Zimbabwe?
Okay, so of those 526, most of them you get in other countries as well. There are a couple of species endemic to Zimbabwe. There's one here, beautiful green butterfly called Lepidopteris ruthica, and it's found in a little patch in the eastern highlands of Zimbabwe. It has a symbiotic relationship with ants. It's a very special butterfly with a very small range. And then we have a number of other butterflies that are endemic to what we call like the Vumba Mountains, which go into Mozambique as well. So biogeographically they're endemic, but not to Zimbabwe, just to the Eastern Highlands area, which includes a bit of Mozambique. So there are quite a few,
Oh, they're so stunning. And they're talking of the Vumba Mountains. I was there some weeks ago.
Yes.
Another breathtaking area. So you are very much into protecting the environment. How does this play into you protecting, the environment and being a good steward, as we're meant to be, of our environment and, protecting these species?
So, like I said earlier, there's 526 species of butterfly in Zim, and every single species, each one can only feed on a particular plant, a particular indigenous plant. So their caterpillars are very fussy eaters, basically, and each type of caterpillar can only eat one type of plant. So butterflies are an incredible, what we call an indicator species, because if you have lots of butterflies, it shows that you have lots of different types of plants. So like you said, in the Vumba, there's lots of different types of plants, and indigenous forests, there you'll get lots of butterflies. So butterflies are a very good indicator to show when the whole ecosystem is degrading, you'll notice the butterflies population going down, even if you don't notice everything else. So butterflies are an essential aspect, and they're totally dependent on the existence of their habitat and their larval food plant.
So should we be worried because we're not seeing as many butterflies as we used to?
Yes, I would say you should be worried. Zimbabwe is losing 60 million trees per year. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. 60 million trees, and these don't. I study butterflies, And the butterfly food plants, what the caterpillars eat, are being chopped out in a very alarming rate. But it's not just affecting the butterflies. They're an indicator. It's affecting the rest of the ecosystem and ultimately affecting us and our whole country.
That's so true, because, global warming is seen as something, climate change as something elite, but then it affects the rest of us with the cyclones, with the droughts, with the floods, and different things, play into that.
So, global warming could be a threat if over a very long period of time the butterflies going further and further up a mountain have nowhere cold to go again. However, at this rate we're going to have no trees a long time before the butterflies are affected dramatically by that. So the major issue in Zimbabwe is the deforestation, which on a global scale could contribute to global warming. But in Zimbabwe the habitat destruction is a far greater threat, and an immediate threat that sort of is affecting us in the next couple of years, not sort of long term.
Hey, and tell us, James, you have also traveled all across the country studying butterflies.
Yes.
What have you seen and observed from your experience?
So the first thing I've observed, you have to start with the positive. Zimbabwe is a very special country. We have incredible, really incredible natural habitats and biodiversity out there, and such a variety of habitats. It is a stunning place, and our nature, we are really a gifted country. But the second thing I've observed is that is really under threat. And you look at, for example, there's a forest south of Chimanimani called Haroni Rusitu. Used to be the Haroni Rusitu forest. The Rusitu part is gone now. It's only Haroni left. You look at the Eastern Highlands, we have an invasive species called the bee bush, Phononanthura polyanthes, and where people have chopped out trees before, you'd have regeneration of trees, and now the bee bush, it's an invasive plant, just takes over and prevents any other trees growing. So we have huge environmental risks in this country, and the butterfly numbers are decreasing, and those are the specialized habitats. But around Harare we have amazing Brachystegia woodlands. So Brachystegia means like Masasa and similar things. And around Harare, you go on the Marandera road, you have to drive a long way before you even see your first tree. The trees are going, and that means the butterflies and everything else are going as well, because it's not just the forests that are important, also the Brachystegia woodland, the flays, everything around, all aspects of nature are interlinked. And it's alarming.
Interlinked with our existence as well,
Precisely, yeah.
And when you say 60 million, that unsettled me.
It is, and
what are we doing?
The people are cutting down trees. We have to cook with something. We have to grow food, but people aren't replanting. That's the big problem. And if they're replanting exotics. We need to replace our indigenous trees. And if there's one thing I call everyone to do is please, we need to grow indigenous trees. Zimbabwe is losing its forests very quickly, and if we don't plant a huge number of trees very soon, there'll be problems. And it starts with every person, even in your back garden. I've planted over 130 indigenous trees just in sort of half a hectare, very small plot. You plant them on your verges, wherever you can. Collect indigenous seeds and grow trees.
If you're just tuning in, it is Galaxy Chat right here on Start, and we're also live on Facebook. We're talking to James Wakefield. He is a lepidopterist, the study of butterflies. And also, you brought some caterpillars and different things here.
Yes.
Can you tell us about the life cycle of a butterfly?
Sure. So,
and also about the habits of butterflies.
Okay. So butterflies like all insects, start their life as eggs. So you won't be able to see too well, but I have some butterfly eggs here. Tiny little things, about 0.5 millimeter in diameter, and it's incredible. Those tiny little things turn into butterflies, which is quite amazing. And then the next stage is the caterpillars. And like I said earlier, each type of caterpillar feeds on a different plant.
I'm holding a caterpillar.
Yeah, you've got to be brave.
Okay. Oh my God.
So they'll be a bit ticklish. Just be brave. Leave them. So that one you're holding is called Shiraxis Athalion. So it turns into this butterfly over here. You're being very brave. Well done. So that's the male, the black one.
Okay.
And these are the females.
You can take. Oh my God.
So what it was doing on your hand is it's just sort of why it feels ticklish is it's actually spinning a web. It was making a web on your hand. So if it falls off, it'll be able to climb climb back up
Oh,
again,
really?
which is really fascinating. Yeah.
Wow.
So the caterpillars are the next stage, and you can see one type of caterpillar here. Another. This is called the mottled green nymph. This one, it's totally different. You can see it has a whole lot of spikes around the side, sort of feathery spikes. That turns into this butterfly over here. And the next stage after the caterpillar is the chrysalis, the pupa. And you can see in this container here, there is a butterfly pupa. And this is the most amazing stage because everything turns to
I
liquid.
remember, I think, actually drawing this at school, something,
Yeah.
and learning about them years.
So everything turns to liquid inside the pupa, and then there's a butterfly inside there, and when it's ready it will hatch and be able to fly away. So it expands its wings, pumps up its wings, and then the fluid dries. So it's like a balloon inflating the wings, and then they dry out and get strong and the butterfly flies away. So everyone knows about the life cycle of a butterfly, but very few people appreciate that like butterflies aren't just all silkworms and eat mulberry leaves. Each butterfly needs a different tree, and that's what very few people understand. And we have 526 different varieties of butterfly, and each one of them needs a different tree. So we don't just need eucalyptus, we don't just need our mosasas, we need all our indigenous trees, all of the
Different
biodiversity.
types.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're asking about the habits as well. So lots of people see butterflies coming to flowers and stuff. Some butterflies, like these big ones over here, they're called shiraxis. You wouldn't have seen them before because they don't come to flowers. They actually don't drink nectar. They fly very high and very fast and drink from rotten fruit and animal feces and stuff like that. So not so nice
butterflies.
stuff. Butterflies, yes. So each type of butterfly is different, and there's just so much to learn, really.
There is, hey?
For sure.
And, just the beauty of God's nature. Butterflies,
For sure.
they are beautiful.
You look at the patterns, I don't know if you can see them so well from there, but the patterns on these, the design's incredible. It's just artwork, basically.
It is.
And it's, yeah, just...
So, like you were saying that about the environment and butterflies, how can we, the public, help in the butterfly conservation effort? What can we do, James?
So if you want to have a butterfly-friendly garden or something, there's two aspects. You need plants for nectar for the adult butterflies, but everyone has those. That's just flowers. But more importantly, you need the larval food plants. And so for your garden, you could just plant some larval food plants, but on a... and they're all indigenous, basically. So we need to grow indigenous plants, indigenous gardens. And on a more national scale, what I said earlier, planting trees is the most essential aspect, because I grow little, I have a nursery with little ground covers and stuff that are larval food plants, but most butterflies feed on trees, indigenous trees. Your pod mahogany, your Aphelia, your mosasas, your Celtis, the stinkwoods, all trees, even if they don't feed butterflies, will have some other use for moths or another insect. So in planting trees for butterflies, like we said earlier, you'll be benefiting insects and the rest of the wildlife, and oxygen, water supply, everything is connected to our indigenous trees. So one, we need to reduce our cutting down of trees drastically, so be more efficient with say rocket stoves or cooking methods that don't use so much wood.
Better alternatives. Okay.
Exactly, or electrification. And secondly, we need to plant trees. Like a recommendation would be 10 trees, plant 10 trees for every one that you cut down, because not all of them survive. So
true.
Yeah, we planting trees, and not just gum trees, because gum trees don't feed butterflies.
Oh, they don't.
They're exotic.
Okay.
We need our indigenous trees. Gum trees have a purpose, they have a place, but so many people plant gum trees and nothing else. We need to plant our indigenous trees.
So something exciting is happening, James.
Yes.
At a personal level. You are leaving Zimbabwe soon to go and study at the prestigious Oxford University in England. Tell us more about that.
Yes, so I'm going to be going to study biology, actually. Well,
Not butterflies,
what else could it be? So butterflies are part of that, but all of nature. That's really my passion. So I'm going to be furthering my education there, and hopefully gaining some knowledge and skills about ecosystems and everything that will help us tackle our problems in Zimbabwe one day, which are very urgent, to say the least, and on a national scale. So
wonderful.
yes.
Thank you so much for coming to the studio and
It's a pleasure.
sharing with us this important information. How can we find you on social media? Got a message here.
So if you go to YouTube, I'd really appreciate if you look up Butterflying with James. And then also on Instagram, Butterflying with James with underscores between Butterflying_with_James. And yeah, follow me on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube. And if you want to learn more about butterflies, there's quite a few more explainer videos on YouTube, especially concerning the habitat destruction in Zimbabwe and the life cycle and aspects like that. And good one to look at is there's I fixed a butterfly wing. A butterfly had a broken wing because they only live about 3 weeks, so their wings wear out after a bit.
Is that their lifespan?
Yeah,
Huh?
only about 3 weeks as an adult. Some emperor moths don't even have a proboscis, so they don't drink. So they only live a few days. So the caterpillars live about a month, and then you have a chrysalis, which stays in the pupa stage for a while, and then the adult
Do you know about the caterpillar worm that's edible?
Yes, my daughter.
Yes, my daughter. Yes,
Exactly.
people are asking, how we can allow them to get to that. Do they also get to that, or they're different, like a species?
So my daughter is Mapani worms. It's a species of emperor moth that turns into a big moth. So it's also lepidoptera. So it's also
it's not
part of-
the beautiful butterfly.
It's
a
not
moth.
such a beautiful butterfly, but it's still important, and it's
Oh,
a
it's
food
still
source.
important.
Yeah, and for sure, you eat it. Entomophagy is eating of insects, and probably we're going to see more entomophagy coming up because there's lots of insects that provide a good protein source. You have locusts, crickets.
So you'd
everything.
recommend that we have Madura?
Well, yes, you could, but leave some on the trees because you need adults to lay eggs so you can eat more next year, basically.
Yes.
They're not all finished this year.
Oh, James, this was beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. If you want to check out the conversation and the caterpillars and the butterflies, you can go watch on our Facebook page. I am V Candy. I'm back with you tomorrow. DJ Mark's taking over 12 to 3 o'clock KVG on the 3 to 6 Express. Remember to pray, to keep trusting God, keep believing, and no pressure. Stay in your lane. It is 12 midday, time for now in Durban.